This guy.
And now to the CAD. Okay.
Yes, this guy used to go up and down, but now it should
Right.
just be stable and not movable. It's an Allen screw that you just need to tighten. You just go through and you check all these eyelets and bolts that are on this guy should not be movable. These guys on the bars run this way. The stuff on the stands tends to run that way. And you just want to make sure that everything's stable. You can see the loops up here. Just check and make sure the top is not. I come through and just, these are usually, I mean, it's almost
It takes a
never
lot
an
for,
issue.
yeah.
Yeah, but it's good to check. The things that I usually find on here are things like these guys left open, not screwed all the way down. So you'll come here and it'll be, I screwed them down really tight at one time. You'll see this, where it's like not all the way down, or even sometimes even open, which is
Bad.
even worse.
Really bad, yeah.
So I always check for that. The other thing that happens a lot here is because of the amount of pressure with doing like monkey and tower and some of these things, you'll find these guys get loose, and they're not right now, right? And even worse, these guys get loose. And
Oh, these.
no, this guy right here. So
The eye bolt? Oh, the eye bolt gets loose. That's holding these. That's pretty serious.
yeah, you don't want that very badly. It's holding the screw. Usually it is the side that has like all the extra stuff on, that has the screw on there, as well as the
Spring.
foot stability strap. Yeah, it has like the spring and the stability. And then you have to kind of take that off
Right, to get to
to
it.
get to it, and also because it'll just twist the crap out of the strap,
Exactly.
and then the strap's not usable, and you'll have to take that off anyway to do that.
And that one is loose, isn't it?
It is.
And it's tightened from the outside?
It's tightened
bolt?
from, you need to be able to tighten this bolt and that screw, and I can
But
get
is
it.
there a way to get it from the inside?
Yes, yeah.
That'd be great if you can do it
You get it from the inside here.
down here.
It is literally, it's literally back up in there. And honestly, on this one, if you had
tough to get
one
to.
bolt, one to hold this,
Yeah.
and then just
All
to
we need-
turn that
That's
down.
all we need is another.
And
yeah,
I've got it
another
better,
wrench.
but it's still,
No, it's not. It's not.
it's not.
It's not tight.
What I would do in the interim is just switch the spring to the other side so that the spring is on the stable side.
All right, it's tighter now, but yeah, we need.
Yeah, it's tighter now, but it still needs to be.
Because you need two tools. You need to be able
Yeah.
to hold this and
Yep.
turn this at
Yeah.
the same time. There, I can tighten it that much with my finger, but. Okay, I understand. Yeah.
Yeah. So, and then here, this is out a bit. I'm not sure exactly why, but probably we need to get the Allen wrench and put
Do
that.
we have a set of Allen wrenches?
Yes, we do. And that needs to go in and be a little more stable in there.
Okay.
Okay.
This one here is sticking
Yeah.
out a bit.
Yeah. Both of them, they're still,
I
yeah.
guess
they-
they get torqued a little bit, huh?
Yeah. These got moved a lot. It doesn't make them happy when they're moved. The bars kind of displace and bend a little bit, and then
Yeah.
you can't get them level, and it puts pressure on those bolts.
Oh, right.
and-
Mm-hmm. I noticed these are much further out than the
Yeah.
other side, even.
Yeah. What's on my Cadillac, these things are brackets this long with
Wow.
8 screws.
Oh my.
What did you get?
I got Alina.
Hmm.
It's a whole different, yeah, it's really, the mechanism to move the carriage in and out, they do a lot of PT stuff. We have some of the stuff at one-on-one. And the whole carriage movement thing is pretty,
It's a
you don't have to
different
worry
design.
about those screws and hooks twisting. It's actually really, I thought it was nice, and then when they came, I was like, wow, it's even nicer than I thought. So, they were good. Okay, the other thing that you look at, and this is where we start to get into trouble, because the last couple batches of springs that we've gotten have not worn and I know,
That yellow one?
have not worn and lasted the way they should.
And the springs come from Peak?
I think we got Peak Springs, right? Here, you're looking, when you turn it, if you see a non-shiny spot, like a darker, more oxidized spot. So if you look over by Kimberly and you look on the pedipole, that doesn't get used a whole lot, but
No.
notice how there's some unshiny spots.
It looks a little grungy.
Yeah,
I
those
would-
unshiny spots are where the metal has started to break down and the chrome finish is starting to wear. And so they're not as strong as they could be. I don't think they're at a point where they're an issue, but if to say that spring was on here and someone decided they wanted either Scott, like a Scott or a really big guy, decided they wanted to like power through their arm springs and move to the middle of the mat and then it would snap on them.
I see.
Or if someone decided they wanted to use them as a leg spring instead, then, so it's just something to keep an eye on. So you just check all the springs for darker, more oxidized stuff. Yeah, this guy, you can see there's a little bit starting here. We're about at the level of probably needing to replace a lot of the springs for safety.
Okay.
And then
So it
here-
should be more shiny. Like I
it should
noticed
be
this
more
is a lot
shiny.
more
Yeah.
shiny.
Should be more shiny, and there shouldn't be. You'll just notice there's duller and darker patches. This one's not so bad. It's more noticeable on the pedipal
Yeah,
springs
yeah,
over there.
okay.
The other thing that happens on these
Yes.
guys is these get it. You'll feel it. It'll feel rough down here, and be careful. Don't rub it real hard because it'll cut your finger.
Right.
That means these will break and snap, and that's
Yes.
where most of the wear has happened in not a good way. Has been down in here. These guys seem to be. Yeah, we're okay, but I check on that. The other thing that happens is there are 2 different sizes of these hooks in this studio. I tried to get all the bigger hooks on the towers, and particularly those towers over there. And then where I couldn't, I have the short hooks all in the same place on the arm springs, the long hooks all in the same place. So you'll see.
So it's even, yeah.
So it's even.
You got
just
short
kinda
with short,
check 'em.
long with long.
So that that you have even length and pressure there.
Okay.
Yeah. Same thing here. You just check all of that. And the handles have held up really well. Just check and make sure nothing looks like it's unraveling or the stitching unraveling and yeah. But these are fine.
Yeah.
They're great.
Yeah.
This is usually loose, and that's not a big deal. They have
Show me again.
This is usually loose here.
This.
Yeah, it's not a big deal if it is.
Okay.
You just don't want it to look like it's falling apart. They've welded that down there.
I see.
These are sealed. The other thing you would check is just make sure. It looks like someone screwed this one tighter. Can you see how this is shorter? We might see if we can. Yeah.
So it's not hanging completely even.
We might see if you can get that up. Yeah, it's not hanging even because of how they have the bolts
Yep,
set
see
there.
that.
That would probably be something I would see if you could. You might not be able to correct that because if that is welded down there, it won't move. But you might see if you can get it
Okay.
to climb
Yeah,
up.
so that it, comes up to
Or
there.
set this one down.
Lower, right, just to
Yeah,
make it even.
Just to make it even, yeah.
I understand.
And then these are those same Allen wrench things. I think we're pretty much okay. We don't want this bar moving. That's the main
It's
thing.
been welded in or whatever.
No, it's still the, yeah, it will. No, it's not. Yeah, but it will. What they did is they took the knobs out and they put these Allen screws in there, and especially this guy, I just check and make sure that those are. And it's been pretty stable for a while, but it's worth a check. Okay, and then underneath here, the props. Technically speaking, you're just trying to keep them under and safe so that people don't trip on them in the aisle. So basically you've got like the TheraBands, the yoga mitts, the sticky pads. So it's a heavy, a medium, a light, and a yoga strap. And then the sticky pads, a pair of smaller ones, right? The yoga paws and mitts in the black
I'm not
bag.
familiar with the yoga pods and mitts.
They don't get used a lot.
I've never even seen them.
Yeah. And then that should be like that. This is just all the pillows and pads. We're trying to get a big neck cervical pillow, a little one, 2 thin rectangles, 2 thick rectangles, 2 thin little squares, 2 thick squares, so you have a set. Because 9 times out of 10, I mean, I find we're trying to get people to uniform up.
Right.
You want to have a kit like that. So if
Exactly.
you use a small cervical pillow and they still need some support under their shoulders, then you want the small pads and all of that. And especially since you put your most compromised people on the table, you just want all the props really
Close at hand.
close at hand.
Sure.
So this is what I call the massage bunks. And somehow,
Red straps out of it.
yeah, somehow we've gotten an extra yoga strap in there, so I need to figure out where that guy goes. Okay. And this looks like we're missing, what we're missing here is there should be a hard, spiky little orange ball that we'll have to figure out where it is, but it's usually a couple of golf balls, not all 4 of these, a couple of handballs, 2 of these squishy ones, 1 of these, 2 of these, yoga toes,
Yep.
toe corrector.
corrector.
This is, huh?
There's a small and a medium, a small and a large. Which one?
Well, there should be 2 of the larger squishy ones over there.
No, just one of each.
And then there should be another one of those hard small ones somewhere. I just don't know where it is.
Maybe one of the other bags.
Yeah, or
Or
sometimes they
boxes.
get put over in the a lot of times I'll find them in the gyro room and they didn't make them back.
Okay.
Which is, you know, you need to use them where you need to use them, but yeah.
This,
I find that those massage
Just go in there as
and this usually so around here we have
oh, careful, careful.
Julia, I think you like this.
so usually ball
Oh,
box
balls in there. Yeah, yeah.
and then pad and magic circle.
Okay.
And then we're missing one of these 3-minute egg things, but this is usually either a pair of yoga risers or a pair of 3-minute eggs, a Freddy. Balls if you have it, like these little balls. And then, oh yeah, what we're missing here is those weighted squishy balls where you have like a pair of, like the squishy blue ones that have weight to them.
Yeah, they're nothing under there.
They're not in there.
Not in that
They were,
box?
they were here on Monday. So, and we're missing a 3-minute egg too. And then the weights here.
Well,
this-
what's the 3-minute egg? I thought
that's this guy. It's
Yeah.
like a yoga
Were you
block.
supposed to have 2 of them there?
You're supposed to have a pair of them.
Oh, okay.
These, Julia, what you need over there?
I need 1. There should be 2 for each Cadillac. We had.
What size? The small or the bigger one?
Oh, is there a pair over there? Are there 4 over there? Because I had 1 pair that was 2 pounds and 1 pair that was 1.5 pounds.
4 over here.
Okay, so just 2 of them. 2 of those come over here.
Okay.
And then, are there 2 of these angly 3-minute eggy yoga block?
2 over there.
Okay, so we should have 2 over here. We'll have to figure out where the other one is. Okay,
So the larger ones are over there, here are the smaller
perfect,
ones.
awesome.
Oh, this is what you were talking
These are
about.
nice. People use them for massage stuff or to squish or there's a whole stability, California rowing series.
Did you do all those? Did you do that?
Mm-hmm.
You put those underneath here?
Usually, again, I put most of the props under here because they're close to the reformers, right? And you're going to do the most kind of like supported and
Yeah. The most compromised people will
compromised
be here.
people are here and you need the most. So you should have a pair of 1 pounds, a pair of 2 pounds, a pair of 3 pounds, a pair of 5 pounds, and a matching set of ankle straps here. And then the rest of it is, you can see you have 1 of each of the box sizes. So a lower level, a high level, mid level, right? Mm-hmm. There should be that yoga sandbag. Mm-hmm. Usually 1 of those underneath there. Then your trapeze bracket.
Thank you.
1 of the bigger barrels. A foot corrector, and then the Aeromax there. Yeah, that's usually what's underneath here.
What do you use the Aeromax for?
I use it for people to either stand on and balance or sit on if someone has like a really sore seat and they need to figure out how to get up. It's more stable than anything else that we have to work with, but just enough unstable where it sinks them in that they have to engage their abs a little bit. And sometimes people will lay down and it just won't feel good. I'll put that underneath there. Yeah, so that's what that is.
Okay.
I'm trying to think.
And the weighted bar.
And the weighted bar. I usually keep 1 or 2. Sometimes, and I don't know why, because I would never use a super heavy bar with a really compromised client, but sometimes you get the really, really heavy ones here, and I usually put those back over in the bins by the towers and stuff because they're more likely to be used over there. And that's pretty much the thought process. Try to get things where they're going to be used the most, so
Sure.
that then they end up back there. And when
Yes,
you're teaching, you
easier.
don't have to wander around and
Go look for stuff.
You can just kind of go, oh, here we need a pillow, you know, or
Exactly.
we need a sticky mat, or we need whatever.
Right.
Okay. Trying to think. These guys are really easy. Again, you're checking bolts and screws.
So onto the high chair right now.
It has happened before. These have been set, the handles are set at an even level, but I've come in and the handles have been one high, one lower. I'm never a happy discovery.
And you know what else is not a happy discovery? Is when you're using the barrel and you put a client on and you realize both screws are not tight.
Yeah. It should, you really, yeah. You
always-
really have to
I
check these.
always check them when I'm
Yeah,
teaching.
the other thing
Or-
too is it hasn't happened here, but as this barrel ages, you should check those dowels on the ladder. You have to see where it's like a black little puck spot. Those pop out with a screwdriver and you can tighten the dowel. You don't want a lot of play in those. Again, this equipment has been taken, people use it usually pretty well, other than not sometimes tightening things down. In general, it's not getting beat to snot. It's well taken care of. You just have to start.
And I think this is important too, because we've got new teachers coming on who may not, you know, have.
They may not be familiar with this brand of equipment or either of these brands of equipment, you know. And so now knowing what to look for and how to keep it safe can sometimes be a challenge. The other thing to watch here is these springs, I've never seen until I saw this particular high chair or electric chair. I have never seen a chair with this amount of weight resistance on these springs. So these are up really, there's one high, one low, but usually this one to be just even usable needs to be probably mostly on both low or just one high or just one low. It just it's really heavy resistance. And again, you check the dowel to make sure it's not rolling. Make sure the handles are, there's going to be a little play in them, but you don't want a ton of play. There you go. So you see how I just kind of tightened that screw down? You don't want this key down here. This will come out. You do not want that out.
Oh, you bet.
You want that key in there.
Yep. And at the same level
At the
over
same
here.
level, yeah.
Yep.
That's kind of a big deal.
Absolutely. Got
So-
that. That's the height of this.
And I just usually, what happens too with these guys is they get dirty here and they get dirty back in there. And you have to take the springs off in the back and lower the pedal down to get back in there. But it gets pretty gross back there. And it's nice to clean that up. And again, you check these springs. This doesn't get a ton of use, but these are probably about due for replacement. You can see how there's some duller places on here. When you look in here, it's not all uniformly shiny. They're probably about, especially because people stand on them with full body weight.
Yeah. Right. Right.
Yeah.
Is there any validity in switching the spring? Like put this end over there and that end over here?
Not necessarily. I think actually, if you look at
they're
it,
made differently.
they're a little different.
Never
Yeah.
mind.
Yeah.
Take the question back.
The other thing that can happen is if these have too much play in them, like this one right now, again, probably needs to be tightened here. These will get turned this way, and you can see how the spring starts to get easier to pop out of there.
Yep.
You want this vertical up and down, and then you want it tight without any play in it.
Yep. And these pop out in order to do that.
They will,
Yep.
yeah. And sometimes if you can just hold here and then tighten this guy.
You got strong fingers. Yeah.
Yeah, or a good pair of pliers
Yeah.
and strong fingers.
Yeah, right.
That'll do it. Okay.
Okay.
Same thing here. You just check the screws, the stability. The one thing that I find a lot
Into the ladder barrel.
is this guy, the little stand back there, lifts out.
Yes.
This lifts out. I'll see it slid here. That's a kind of a problem because if someone steps on it and they're not expecting it. The other thing is it's just left out here and then it's a trip hazard. So you just want to make sure this. I've never checked it and had it loose, but just in case. And then this goes in. You'll see.
In and back.
Can you see? Yeah, in and
Yep.
back.
Yep.
It has the little levels. And so I had someone say, how do you know which end goes down? It's the end with the...
The only way it'll go.
Yeah.
Really. Yeah.
Well, it'll go the other way. It just will be tippy.
Yeah. Yeah. Right. Doesn't feel secure. You wouldn't want to stand on it.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm trying to think of anything else here. These guys over here, particularly the lower springs, have these sleeves on them, and then the monkey, the trapeze springs have these vinyl covers.
Yep.
That's because you get your arms and your hair very close to
Yep.
these guys, and if this isn't on there, you're gonna pinch and get caught, and it's so. I try to make sure they're easily to fall, they fall off easily, so I try to make sure they're on there.
They're on there, yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of a safety thing. Okay. So chairs. You're checking.